guys, welcome back. We're traveling again, back home to Rhode Island this time. We are taking American Airlines and we're in first class this entire way. We do have a really short connection that keeps getting shorter because this flight keeps getting delayed, so we'll see what happens.
So today we're flying American first, as Jill said, but we got a great deal using points, which we'll talk about at some point in the video. We don't usually fly bougie, but we had some American points we had to get rid of because we don't really care about it. We don't fly American too often. Actually, we're not huge fans of American overall. So we thought we'd burn these points. We got a great deal, and the original flight itinerary looked great, but yeah, it's gonna be a tight connection if we get lucky. We'll see.
So for this flight, we booked first class for 23,500 miles each, which was a pretty good deal, especially considering how long the first flight was going to be. And we also both had just about 30,000 miles in our AAdvantage accounts. And we don't fly American that often, and so for us, kind of burning all these on this one-time usage wasn't a bad thing.
Not gonna lie, we're pretty efficient, pretty proud of ourselves. We have a little bit more stuff than usual, and we were a smooth machine. Heading to the other Priority Pass Lounge in Vegas. We watched our last video. We were at the Priority Pass Lounge in the other part of Terminal 3, but we'll see if we have better luck today than we did last time.
Fingers crossed. The Vegas airport has two Priority Pass lounges, one by the E gates and one by the D gates. We definitely prefer the one by the D gates. It's just a little bigger, a little nicer, some great food options. So that's what we went to today. The food options kind of change up every single time. So there's sometimes chicken tacos, sliders. We got a lot of good stuff today. You basically scan a QR code on the table and they deliver it right to you, but they also have snacks, drinks, and everything at a buffet. One of the advantages we found of the lounge is that when you have a baby, it's typically quieter and just less overstimulating than the rest of the airport. So it's really nice to be in there and kind of let the baby relax and hang out and maybe just kind of squirm around on the ground while you're getting ready for your flight.
The lounges also tend to have nicer bathrooms, usually private bathrooms as well, so we like to change the baby's diaper usually right before we head to the gate to take off. That just makes the process a little less stressful and allows us to get to the gate ready to go. The Priority Pass is included in our Chase Sapphire Reserve card, one of the benefits of the card, and if you use it enough, it definitely helps justify the annual fee of the card.
All right, do you want to give the update or should I?
American Airlines, I swear to God. So our flight from here has been delayed, which has caused us to miss our connecting flight, and they've already rebooked us. They don't even care. They've already rebooked us for tomorrow morning out of Charlotte. So we have to spend the night in Charlotte, most likely.
And this is not our first time doing this. Before Cal was born, I had a similar situation happen. I mean, it happens with the airlines, but there wasn't weather. It seemed to be within the airline's control, which is very frustrating. From early this morning, there's just a cascading effect of delays on this incoming flight. Very frustrating.
American Airlines, I'm not a fan, ever. As we were taxiing, we saw that our connecting flight kept getting delayed. So we actually had this slight glimmer of hope that we were going to make the connecting flight.
On this flight, we had a particularly long taxi out to the runway that we were using. We got to do some cool plane spotting, seeing all of the Spirit and Allegiant planes, but even more notable were these old 737s with the red stripes, which are operated by Janet Airways, which take folks between Las Vegas and some national security sites. We also got to taxi by the private fleet of Las Vegas Sands, which used to own the Venetian and Palazzo casinos here in Vegas. And at one point, that was one of the largest private fleets in the world, and they have some really cool aircraft.
one of the benefits of flying first class on these long flights is you do get a meal included. So for dinner, I got the pasta dish and Drew got the chicken dish, and then we got some desserts. So Drew got a cheese and fruit plate while I got mango sorbet. At this point in the flight, we were actually feeling super hopeful because we kept seeing that our connecting flight was still delayed and we were going to probably make it. I think we had like 30 minutes in between, so we were very hopeful that we were going to be able to run through the airport and catch that flight.
And then we landed, and I saw off on one of the taxiways there was a long line of planes with their lights blinking, indicating that they were still taxiing, and I was worried that they were all waiting for gates and we would be joining that line, and sure enough, I was right.
As Drew predicted, we sat on the tarmac for just about 2 hours waiting for a gate, which was definitely not ideal, and especially not ideal for Cal. He was not a happy camper, having just flown 5 hours with an additional 2 hours on the ground. It was definitely emotionally and physically challenging to keep him entertained and keep him calm while we just kind of sat there. We finally pulled up the gate and we had Drew with the baby waiting for our stroller while I ran to try to catch our connecting flight. And while I was on my way to catch our connecting flight, it got canceled.
We clearly weren't the only ones in the terminal that night with a misconnection, and the line for the customer service for American was enormous. Fortunately for us, we were able to use self-service in the American app and get a hotel for the night with them.
All right, it is 1:45 a.m. from a Renaissance hotel in Charlotte, North Carolina. This is not where we intended on being tonight. It's been a heck of a travel day.
I'm so unwell. Remember that time I said we don't like American Airlines?
So we're probably going to be avoiding American for quite a while after this. We don't have our bags. Our bags are at the airport overnight, which is fine. We're on the first flight out, but we're not able to sit together on the flight in the morning. And
they booted me out of first class, so.
And we have to be back at the airport in like 3 hours, and we're a good 30 minutes away from the airport. So hopefully we can get Cal to bed. He's borderline delirious right now from being awake for so long. But stay tuned for the rest of our journey.
Bye. Okay, we're going solo here for a second because me and Drew got separated. We ended up getting on the 7:10 flight. This morning, Drew is literally in the very first row. I am actually in the very last row. So he has the baby this flight, so pray for him. The 2-hour flight, I'm hoping it's a little shorter. Hoping the baby sleeps the whole time. He has not slept that much, so he is cranky. But fingers crossed, we get to Providence quickly.
Fortunately, this flight was really smooth and quick up to Providence, and it was a beautiful day, and we got some great views of some of the sights of Rhode Island as we were coming into Providence, including Block Island and Newport and the greater Providence area.
We debated switching off of American for our return flight home, but we figured that this probably won't happen again.
2 weeks later.
Greetings from Rhode Island. We are traveling back today, and we decided to give American Airlines another chance, so we'll see if they redeem themselves, but so far it's not looking great.
Yeah, so today we're flying on American from Providence through Philadelphia back to Vegas. This will be our first time flying with Cal on one of the smaller regional jets, the first flight from Providence to Philly's on a CRJ 900, I believe. So a little bit tighter on the space, so we'll see how that goes.
So we had a short layover to begin with, a 45-minute layover, and we found that our gates were opposite sides of the airport. We would have to take a bus to get there. So that's definitely not looking good, and our flight departing out of Providence just got delayed. So
today was supposed to be redemption for American, and so far they're not off to a great start.
at the Providence Airport, and on the way here, American rebooked us because we were going to miss our connection because our initial flight was even further delayed. So
we are now flying through Charlotte again, so pray for us. But yeah, our flight is now at 5:30 through Charlotte and getting in, I think, an hour and a half later than we originally scheduled into Las Vegas. We stuck with the American itinerary, praying for the best.
The plus side is now we're on the 321 both ways, so bigger plane, so we get to avoid some of the small plane problems. I'm sure in the future we'll have a video showing how to fly with a kid on the smaller planes.
So fortunately, we boarded this flight pretty close to on time. However, once we pulled back from the gate, we had to sit on the tarmac for about 25 minutes before taxiing to the runway to take off. And this once again put us in a position about being worried about a short connection time.
So here we are again in the Charlotte airport. That delay caused us to miss our connecting flight. So here's to another night spent in Charlotte.
This time the American app didn't realize we'd missed our connection, so we had to call the American hotline to get our food voucher and our hotel voucher. We opted to actually book our own hotel because we didn't love any of the options provided to us. And one of the benefits of having the Chase Sapphire Reserve card is you have trip delay insurance, and we met the qualifications for that, so we're going through the process of getting reimbursed for that hotel cost and those Lyft rides now.
Thank you guys so much for watching. This is obviously not the video that we thought we were going to make when we went on this trip, but we appreciate you all coming along for the journey.